Didn't see you there. Have you ever asked yourself, what is social conditioning and behaviorism? Well, today is your lucky day. Today we'll be telling you everything about what you need to know about that stuff. So let's go take a look.
What is behaviorism? Behaviorism is a theory that humans and animals' behavior is a product of conditioning, and that this is without appeal to feelings or to thoughts. And behaviorists, or behaviorism followers, believe that any psychological disorder can be fixed with a little conditioning.
So you may be wondering, what is classical conditioning? So basically, classical conditioning is when the learner reacts to a situation as it occurs. This situation has become associated with a pleasant experience, and this is used to explain attitudes and emotional reactions.
Our first experiment is Ivan Pavlov's theory on classical conditioning. This is when the environment, shapes, and behavior affect how someone feels. A stimulus is any object, physical event, or situation that elicits a response or a behavior. For example, dogs' meat powder.
So what did Pavlov do in his experiment? The first thing he did was attach a dog to a harness and attach the tube to the dog's cheek to measure his saliva. Pavlov then sounded the bell before giving the meat powder to the dog. Then, Pavlov sounded the bell without giving the dog any meat powder, and the dog salivated at the sound of the bell alone. The dog's reaction to the bell was named a conditioned response. The dog learned to associate the bell with the delivery of meat.
The dog now instinctively salivates at the sound of the bell, which results in a new learned behavior. Dogs are also quite visual, so whenever they see a lab coat, they would think that food is on the way.
The next topic is John B. Watson's contribution to the Little Albert experiment. In the experiment, psychologist John Watson was able to condition a previously unafraid baby to become afraid of a rat. Albert was a 9-month-old baby who had not previously demonstrated any fear of rats. In the beginning of the experiment, John Watson placed a rat on the table in front of Albert, who did not react.
He began making loud noises on several separate occasions while showing Albert the rat. Albert cried in reaction to the noise, and after a period of conditioning, cried in response to the rat, even without a loud noise. This meant that he did not only react to the rat, and other animals or objects that resembled the rat would provoke a reaction as well. And this is known as generalization.
Next topic we'll be covering is conditioning and behaviorism in today's world.
Classical conditioning is prevalent in everyday life. For example, there's lollipops and candy canes. And because of their unnatural color, we associate it with it tasting good. So this would also be an example of cake. Cake is very delicious. We're triggered to see and feel that it tastes good. So this is an involuntary experience. Another example of this would be at school. So whenever the bell rings, we associate it with changing classes or the end of the day. Another example of how it's relevant in today's world is social conditioning. So social conditioning is the norms and ideologies that we get from society. So an example of this would be our families, our schools, our education system, as well as our employment.
Brainwashing or classical conditioning is used in today's world in a number of ways. Some ways you may not have even thought of. For example, in marketing and advertising, we use themes or objects that relate to the consumer, and how a product is advertised is based on human behavior in a certain area. For example, in commercials they use music which makes us think about the product without even having it or seeing it.